What you
All
got?
right. Flappy Bird.
That's a whole weird situation, isn't it?
It's the most infuriating game you can ever possibly play. I managed to get to 22 pipes. For me, I think that's a record. After that, I got through my phone and just uninstalled the game. But the developer has pulled the game because I don't know what's wrong with him.
I actually read up about that some. So the developer is an indie guy. I'm trying to remember where he is. Like, I think he's Singapore, but some relatively smallish Asian nation. He never expected it to take off like this, and suddenly his social media got flooded. People were sending him these constant requests, and that wasn't so bad, but the thing that really killed it for him was the constant requests were replaced by some really hostile people that were like, I'm gonna kill you if you don't add a new level, or like the death threats bugged him when what he'd created was a game like Flappy Birds, and that was so stressful for him. He's like, I am just pulling this off. I can't take that anymore. At least that's what I read.
It created quite a controversy, and all the crazies came out of the woodwork because, pull up this next slide, someone tried to sell, and honestly sold on eBay, a kid's doodle of Flappy Bird for about $16,000. Now, and if you go to eBay, eBay had to institute a whole new policy just for Flappy Bird because people were selling stuff for such ridiculous prices.
It was crazy. Like, here's my iPhone that I'm going to go buy the next new one and get myself a computer because I'm going to sell it for $24,000.
Because it has Flappy Bird on it.
Yeah.
So I am happy it's gone. I don't quite understand the whole Flappy Bird thing, why people went so crazy.
No offense meant to the developer. It's a fun little game. There are lots of fun little games, but it wasn't the end-all and be-all of human existence the way people were treating it.
I don't even know how it happened, but hey, whoever bought this painting for $16,000, you got some money to waste? I'll draw you whatever you want with my eyes closed. Seriously, we'll do that.
Magic marker time, dude.
Yeah, we'll totally just throw stuff at a wall and you can buy it. Up next, I'm excited by this because the U.S. Navy this week mounted its first laser weapon on a battleship.
I am a DARPA fangirl, so when I hear these things, there's a part of my brain that goes, Robopocalypse, we're almost there! And another part's like, ooh, can I use the laser?
Well, it's cheaper and it's more effective, and just the idea that we now have laser beams on battleships means
you know where you've got to
luck.
put them because they've got the laser beams on battleships. You know what's coming next. Lasers on frickin' sharks' heads.
And dolphins. Don't forget dolphins, because then you have the dolphins and the sharks fighting each other with the lasers. It'd be like
Best
green and
video
red.
game ever.
I'm telling you,
Can we control them? Can we put like electrodes in their brains and just
You
control?
can't actually do that. They can actually do that.
Is it?
It'd be like Echo the Dolphin version 4. Total
I'm sure that PETA will murder us
aquapocalypse.
just for mentioning that this is a possibility, but I would totally pay to do that.
I think it would be really fun. And guess what's next?
What?
The railgun. They have a working prototype, and they're going to start mounting that. And I'm just thinking, railgun and lasers? We're really at Skynet days, let me tell you.
You know, the great thing about science fiction, though, is so much science fiction inspires actual technology. There's some great stuff going around Facebook right now of people going, hey, Star Trek predicting future technology since 1966 and just one-to-one comparisons.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. I don't think we would have things like the iPad today if you hadn't seen the pads in Next Generation.
All right.
He's going to disagree with me on that one, because it's inevitable. Of course someone would have come up with that.
It was in Star Wars first. Okay. Next up. This is the most confusing news of the week. Irrational Games has shut down.
Okay, because apparently Bioshock was a completely unpopular game that nobody wanted to play, so they must not have made any money.
I don't understand the part. He wants to do a smaller team and a different studio, which my mind leads to they're just going to make mobile games.
That's what it sounds like to me as well. When someone says smaller teams, smaller games, crank it out faster, all of those things. I mean, don't get me wrong. I actually did download Myst on my phone out of nostalgia. You can play some good games on a phone, but that's not the type of game they make. They make these big, action-packed, full of wonderful special effects games. That's not what I'm looking for on a 4-inch device. I want to see that on my TV.
It just baffles me. I know they had problems with Bioshock Infinite, but still, it was an uber popular game. They made hands over fist money. There's a board game based on it. They have all of this stuff.
Having a board game based on it makes all the difference.
Well, it does, honestly. Sometimes it does. I mean, honestly, that's the way I like. I haven't played the board game. You know, I kind of don't see. It's like Risk, but in Bioshock.
This is a very strange thing for them to decide to do. There's got to be some sort of internal politics. Like, I don't know, maybe there was just some jerk they really wanted to fire, and it got to the point where they couldn't legally do it. Like, we'll just shut down the whole company so we don't have to talk to him.
It's more than likely something like that. So I don't quite get it. The other thing I don't quite get is this next story. Hasbro has decided they're going to change the way Transformers transform.
No.
Now, we all know Transformers come with instructions, and it's actually engineering geniuses, the way they go back and forth.
Oh, I agree. That's why I keep saying no, they're not allowed to change it.
Today's kids, apparently in Hasbro's mind, don't have the attention span because they want it to be more like in the cartoon where it's 1, 2, 3. So basically, we all know how the Happy Meals work, right? Oh, look, stand it up. That's pretty much what you're getting now from Hasbro Transformers. You may pull out an arm here or there or bend him in half, but that's it.
This is ridiculous. And here's why this is ridiculous. At the same time that they're claiming our kids are stupid, you know what our kids are also doing? Joining maker fairs and the whole maker movement. That is super popular and gaining in popularity right now. They're not just building or making Transformers transform. They're going out to a lab that has tons of actual equipment and building real things. Because kids love that. Give them the little challenges. Did you ever see like those Kinder eggs?
Yep, I sure did.
We
I love
can't
Kinder
get the
eggs.
good Kinder eggs in the U.S. because they say that it's too complicated for our little tiny brains. And then they also like made it illegal to ship them in for a while. That was a whole crazy thing.
things.
The point is, we're not as stupid as you think we are. We like cool stuff. Stop taking the cool things away from us. Come on.
Well, starting with the new movie, you're going to get the new Transformers, or it's 1, 2, 3 transform. Like sometimes you push a button and it just kind of jumps up and it's done. I don't get it. It makes no sense because basically we all know how the Happy Meals look. They are a waste of complete time. Waste of time.
I agree. I completely agree. We are actually on the same page with this one.
All right, and this last item I just thought was really cool. We all know about 3D printing. Well, now you can 3D print clothes with this new loom that's about $700 that uses yarn.
Well, I mean, that's actually not 3D printing. That's
Well, no, it's an actual
loom.
It's a 3D loom. That's what they call it, a 3D loom. You might be right. It might just be a giant
It sounds like
loom.
it's just a home loom.
But it does it all by itself, and it looks pretty awesome. You can see a picture of it on the screen right here.
Okay, the interesting thing about this to me is, because I also know a bunch of knitters and I've got that wacky history degree and all that, is, so it sounds like you just have made a desktop-sized loom, the same technology.
Oh, it's not desktop-sized. It's like giant.
Oh, okay. So it's literally the exact same technology that's currently used to make a sweater. It's not like they're 3D printing the yarn or anything.
As far as I know, no.
Okay, the interesting part about this to me is the fact that 3D printing is so trendy and so popular that they'll slap the words 3D printing on anything, apparently. Like, hey, you know what you want at home, knitters? Your own loom. They've been around since the 1700s, but if we call it 3D, maybe you'll buy one now.
So yeah, I knew it'd be awesome to talk about that because I was like, oh, you can 3D print clothes, but it's yarn, and I knew you would know more because you're all about 3D printing. The other one actually 3D prints like rubber clothes. And
really?
Yeah, there's one that prints rubber clothes, and there's also one that you just spray on the clothes and you take it
off.
off.
Have you never done the whole, when I was younger and thinner, the spray on? Never mind. So.
All right. So that has been this week's Geek Week News.
More than you needed to know.